All right, hi guys. Sorry about that. My daughter unplugged the internet, so we lost connection there. So yeah, but we're back. We're live again. So let's continue. All right. Um. All right. So I was just moving around the players, the number of players. Let me just write this comment. After checking that, everything is okay. Now we can start actually adding the player. Right. Um, and now we can set the self number of players. Self players equals players. Mm, okay. And I need to figure out this local players. What is this being used for? In this type P2P session, is that something I'd find local players? Yes, here endpoint. So it's tracking local players somewhere here, but once the builder's gone, this isn't being tracked anymore. Um, so I have to work out what's the number of local players. Let me go back to box game where the players that being added to the builder, local players, this equals 1. So yeah, that's all it does here. So we know the local players is going to be at least 1 already. So there's maybe we create like a temporary variable again, like this. No, hold on. We need to find out how many local pairs we already have, and then do +1. Where's this being used again? What is this being used for again? Maybe we don't need this. Oh, we do need it here. Well, maybe we don't need to calculate it this way because, I mean, unless figure out the number of players, then we do +1. But we don't do +1 until we know that this all succeeded. So there's not really any point in checking for this, but since we have to calculate the number of players from scratch already. And the number of players is just the number of players that have player type local. Right. So inside the registry. So we just have to iterate the player registry. Get number of local players. And then here we want to do for handle player type. Well, we could count that in here already since we're already iterating. Might as well check for both. Right here, we even already have the match statement. So here's the address. Yeah. Count number of local players. Let mutable local players equals start off at 0. And then here, we just need to do local players plus equals 1. I think that's okay. Well, we don't need this section anymore. Okay, now that we have local players, so we have the number of players set. We have the local players, the address count. Oh wait, hold on. Address count. Okay. Number of players per address. Entry or insert, but these are already inserted, right? Oh yeah, hold on. No, we're just adding this to the address count, so we're not actually changing anything on self, so that's fine. All right, maybe it's kind of overkill to create this full map, because then it's going to go ahead and try to add each one. Yeah, we don't need that. The players are already mostly added. So we'll go back and change this here in a second, but first let's get the logic right for creating the endpoints. Match player type, remote. So local, there's nothing to do. If it's a remote or a spectator, however, we want to create an endpoint. And we don't need to do this if the handles. Wait, what if the endpoint already exists, but it doesn't have our handle, right? Can we update the endpoint? Oh, we don't even have a create endpoint function. Let me go back to the builder. Where are those endpoints being created? That's just another function we'll have to copy over the contents, I think. I'm guessing it has something to do with maybe the player registry. Yeah, okay. Create endpoint, what does this do? Endpoint.synchronize. Okay, this looks important. Handles, peer address. We'll have to overwrite the endpoint. Yeah, we'll have to recreate it and then overwrite it. Hopefully that doesn't cause issues. Hopefully you can still access all this stuff. Self number players. With the players. And we want to call that for every player, but it's already called for the players that are already been added. Okay. And I could start by copying the function. It's a pretty small function. Add it to here. Local players, okay. Yeah, it doesn't have this stuff. I have to provide that. me check if anything maybe gets added in the start P2P. No. Yeah, so those values are gone already. All right. I guess we use those same values for every player. So maybe it's relevant to add them to the P2P session. I'm out if I start FPS. I think these were just created if I'm in box game here. When I go to main, input delay. Well, FPS is here. So FPS we could send over, and then max prediction. I don't see it the rest here. Maybe it's just the default values. What's this? I think that was just for testing something. We'll fix that out. We'll compile until we fix it anyway, so can't miss it. All right. There. Let me just self. How do we create the builder again? We're calling new builder. Yeah, I think some of these are just the default. Where's that default function? Okay, so new. Yeah. All right, so what we'll do, let's go back to GGRS, go to the builder, and we'll add those things we need, which are timeout, notify start, and FPS. We'll add those to the start P2P session. If I can find it. Start P2P session here. And then we gotta add those disconnect timeout, notify start, and FPS. Disconnect timeout, notify start, and FPS. Oh, which one was that? FPS. Okay. FPS use size. So back here, go to okay, I got lost. P2P session. Here we go. Add these to the end. And it was FPS. Go back here. FPS use size. And we'll have to import this. Okay. So now we should have access to this stuff within the P2P session. So we'll be able to, okay. Hold on a second. New, I guess, are we calling new from the builder? Let me just make sure. Yeah, so new needs to accept these additional variables. Right. Happy. And now we can go back down to our, okay, we have a create endpoint here. All right. Point. Is this synchronous to? Okay. All right, so create this endpoint, return it. Should be good here. All right, okay, here. We don't want to be creating endpoints for addresses that already exist, I guess. If how do we know if there's already been an endpoint created? This returns the endpoint. Register remotes insert. So it gets inserted as a remote in the player registry. Or as a spectator, right? All right, and then they can have multiple handles. So we could, if it already exists, we'll have to overwrite instead of insert, right? But if it's new, we'll have to insert. So insert or, let's see, what was it called? There's like an insert or is it something else or insert? Add or insert. Basically, I wanted to insert it if that because this is a hash map, so it's a key value pair. The peer address clone, if it's already in the pair, add it. If not, update it. If the map did not have this key present, none is returned. If the map did have it, the value is updated and the old value is returned. Okay, looks like it's already doing what I want. This matters for types that can be equal without being identical. Okay, but peer address is just an address. I think that's fine. Hopefully. Can address be yeah, I think it's okay. So insert. So in the end, I think this is okay, actually. Because it will, if it's already there, it'll update it. But I would just update it to the same thing that already is. Oh, wait a minute. But if it's already there, that means it'll be recreating all of the endpoints every time. Maybe that's not good. We only want to do it on the one that includes the player that we're adding, right? So let's see, the player that we're adding, player type. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, we don't need to iterate through all of these. I don't think we need to even have this address count at all, even. Well, okay, we need to check for the local players, but that's just, yeah, we did this, I think. What we're gonna do is instead of iterating this address count, we're not gonna have that anymore. We'll just do match player type. Yeah, we'll have this here. All right, and if it's local, I have nothing to do. If it is remote or spectator, then we create an endpoint. If, well, yeah, we update the key. So if it doesn't exist, it will get added. It's already there, it'll get overwritten. We just have to figure out this handles though, because handles here is an array. Ah, okay. So we don't insert. We will first look if it's already there. If it's already there, what we want to do, maybe, hold on a second, because create endpoint is going to use handles in the UDP protocol that new, so we can't just add it to the map. We need to, yeah, we do need to recreate the endpoint for sure, no matter what. But we need the array, we need the updated array of handles. So we don't need to do this for every player. Create or update the endpoint. Right, so now we need handles instead of address count. Now how we're going to get the handles, we can loop through here and see, this is creating a map of player type to handle. If there's any player type address, if there's anyone with the same player type here, player type config address, won't this be the same? Okay. If this player type is, we have player type up here, right? So this is the player type of the player that's being added. But it's being hidden here inside of this loop. So say existing player type and existing handle. And so instead of having a whole map of all of them, we'll only have the event player handle part. This is going to be handles, existing handles. And then I think we just call new on this. There we go. Let's 2 colons here. All right. So existing handles, and then we'll do match existing player type. If it's remote or spectator, we add the handle. Right? Yeah, instead of adding it to this map, entry. Or insert push. So we just want push. So what we're going to do is existing handles. It's not even going to be in this match statement because we're not interested in all of them. We'll do dot push, and we're going to push the handle. Existing handle. And this is only going to be if player handle equals, I'm not sure this is going to actually be equal, but not player handle, player type equals existing player type. Right. So then if it's a remote, this is going to get added or if it's a specter, get added. Player type local. Okay, maybe we do the match to calculate how many players, but these other two can do nothing. This. Right. Hopefully I didn't make a mistake here, but okay, player type, existing type. Well, all right. I don't think I need to clone just to compare. Or is that because one is a reference and dereferencing would work too? Yeah, I think that's what it was. I don't actually need to clone. All right, so if the player type is the same as the existing player type, let's push some existing handles. And then we'll check for local players to update that. So we don't need this address count anymore. That number of local players in here is going to be count the count, but get existing handles for player type. All right. So now when we get to create the endpoint, match the player type and insert it in the right place. Handles is going to be hold on a second, let me get the order right. So if we add the player to the registry, this was then an add players. So this would have happened before. Before this. Yeah, because this happens in the add player stage, and then this will start in this will happen in the start P2P session. So that, I mean, I'm referring to the other functions that were already in the previous process. So just making sure that's happening in the right order. All right, yeah, so if we insert our handle, I think we've already established that the handle is valid, so this should be perfectly safe. Get existing handles for player type. Maybe I just call it handles now because it's not just existing, but it's including the player. It's including the handles that we added. So, existing player type, I guess so. So I need a different name from the player type so that we can compare it. Let's do registered player type. Registry, register. Okay, that should be a little more clear. Get handles for player type. So when we get to here, match the player type, and then based on what that is, we'll insert or update basically. Inserting, that's fine. Update, that's also fine. Yeah, I think this works. Okay. Let's make sure everything compiles. It'll build. Missing fields. What function is this? New? Oh yeah, we added it to the function, but we're not actually returning. So this should work. No, hold on. I guess we just, since they're named the same, we can just do something like this. Let's see if this builds. All right, we got one more. Values after, okay. 228. It's probably not line 228 anymore. 229. Is that right? Oh, yeah. 288. Okay. So peer address. Use after move. Oh, right, because the peer address doesn't. I mean, we took this out of the loop. Okay, peer type peer address. Hold on a second. No, this should be fine because we're matching on the player type. This will tell us. Okay, use after move. What is this? Value moved here. Do we have peer address already somewhere? 9270 to say? No. Maybe it's player type, not the actual peer address. Value occurs because player type has type, which is not included. Okay, so it's player type that we ended up moving. Yeah, because we added it, we inserted it to the peer, and then so it's been moved. So player type doesn't exist anymore. Somehow it's happy here, but maybe it shouldn't be. Anyway, we can fix that by just cloning here. There we go, compiles. All right, so that's good for GGRS. Now let's go back to our box game and fix any issues there. All right, so we have one error here. I'm pretty sure this was just looking at what functions exist. I don't think we needed that. And let's see if this compiles. Let's go ahead and run it while we're at it. So there's the player should be added to the session, but we're still not going to see the player because we didn't reflect that in our logic, creating a box for the player. So it's still not going to work, like I guess visually, but hopefully it doesn't freeze up anymore. All right, so we'll start the session here. So these two are running, and then we'll have a third one join. Hopefully it won't freeze up. Okay, it did not freeze up. This one's not in sync as expected. But notice, okay. Let's see if we have errors. So I didn't mess up the existing game. And we don't have errors. This one error is always there from maybe it's not actually a real error. But yeah, it looks like it's happy. Player joined, adding to session. What about these two? I might be very far down the logs. I don't know. New player joined, adding to session. All right. What's up? Okay. This is definitely not in sync because I don't know what happened actually. They lost sync somehow. And none of them have an error. So maybe when this one joined, maybe it had the same ID or something. I don't know. Maybe let's try this again. So let's start this. Oh, this is gonna be a bit tricky because now it's joining this guy's game. Let's move these two to room 2 and have this one join room 2. So their game is in sync. I just want to make sure I'm observing properly what's happening. When this one joins, this blue thing teleported. I don't know. Okay, they're still in sync. Maybe when maybe something else triggered the desync earlier. But yeah, this joined. It didn't interrupt the game. That's progress because before it was freezing up. So, all right. Player was added. Oh, was it? I'm not sure we actually added the player. Hold on. Handle joining players. Did we didn't actually call session.add player. So let's do that. And then we'll have to pass in a few things, I think. Players, no, we want the new player. Your state connected. It's gonna be players last, right? The type and then the handle. This wants. I'll probably have to make it public too. Session. It is public. Okay. Let's go back here. All right, no method named add player found. This session is that right, this is the session here that we want to call it on. So let's move this. Let's fix this here. And we'll move this to here. All right. Add the player. No methods for mutable reference. Let's see. Is it, maybe I'm not pointing to the right dependency. All right, I'm pointing to the one in Git. Let me point to my local one for now, just to test that this actually works. And that's going to be like path equals, and then / ggrs. I think then let's close this and point this out now. Oops. I think that's all. All right. Different source paths. Okay. Wait, do we have GGRS somewhere else as well? Yeah. Let's do the path thing there too. Target. Okay. Path. Rows, comma. Missing. Quote. All right. There we go. SMS. Yes. So I'm not sure I'm getting these errors. I think because Bevy GGRS is using the actual GGRS, so we have to patch it. We have the patch here. Okay, we're patching it wrong. Well, wrong. We just have to make sure everything's pointing to the same GGRS. Which in this case is my local one. But assuming this works, I mean, even if it doesn't work, I think I'll just go ahead and push it. At least it compiles. All right. So hopefully, yeah. Hopefully we get a different issue now. The issue that I want is for it to say something like can't find entity with that particular handle, or maybe when updating the scores or moving a player. All right, so room one. Let's room one. Let's wait for the game to start, and then we'll add this one as well. Okay, the game started. Let's add a third player. Everything throws up. Let's see what error this one has, if any. I'm pretty sure the others will have errors for sure. Okay. Attempt to subtract with overflow in main. Okay, that's probably our bad. My bad. Yeah, so let's go to main 68. Main 68 remaining. Right. So for the player, let's see, for the player who's joining, they're still going to go through this logic, I guess. And this is going to be 2. And then connect to peers is going to be, wait, how is that? What's the error again? Attempt to subtract with overflow. This is unsigned. So, oh yeah, we're subtracting a larger number. So this ends up being negative, but it can't. Okay. So remaining should not be U size. Should be in I size. That way it can go negative. But it wants it to be U size because these are all U size. So can I just cast these as I size? It seems to have made it happy. Guess I don't need to specify here since. Okay. So let's do this. Right, yeah, this is doing 2 minus 3. All right. May have been interesting to look at the other errors first, but it's okay. All right, so now let's switch to room 2 again. Room 2. So everyone else is in room 1. Let's go room 2. All right, game started here, they're in sync. And now let's join room 2. So the game's still running. It's connecting. Now everything goes up. All right, let's look at our errors. No errors here. All right. Have all the players. New player join, adding to session. Why is this happening? This code shouldn't run on the last one to join, right? Because there wouldn't be. Right. Let me take a look at the errors on the other ones. So here we have actual errors. Index out of bounds. Again, network protocol. We ran into this before. I wasn't sure what was causing it. Looks like we're pretty much back to square, well, not really square one, but we ran into this when we were trying to like just recreate the whole session. And just kind of overwrite it. So yeah, but now we have a lot more control and we can go ahead and make whatever changes required to fix this. So yeah, so at the network levels, the number of players doesn't match. Again, so did I maybe I got confused. Was this the last player that yeah, this is the last player that I added, wasn't it? So the last player should not have gotten new players once in game. I got one new player. Let me see real quick. Lobby system should have already had the 2 players, right? Like we saw remaining was like -1. So so we should have got all players have joined going in game. And I believe we probably got that. Get the right player here. This is further up. Now players have joined, going in game. Data channel open. Okay. And then once you're in game, we got a player. But we still only have 3 players, so maybe one of the players joined late. I mean, from this point of view of this client. That would mean started the session as soon as I got connected to one of these. Maybe the other one wasn't there yet. Thinking like, is there a way I could make sure we're connected to all the players with we're doing? Okay. Let's try this again with room 1, just to see if this error happens every time or it's something. If it's maybe like race condition or something. Don't know if we'll be able to see the game very well with these console. Okay, a bit choppy, but seems to be in sync. And we'll join with the 3rd player. Matchbox server. All right, and now everyone failed, including this one. Failed to add player. Okay, this is a different error, I think. Player handle you provided is invalid. For local player, the player handle should be between 0 and 1 players. So I mean, just the fact that we have different results points to race condition. It could be that, let's see, lobby, peer ID. Okay, so in this case, it only had 1. Here, okay, connected. So I had the two peers. Could be that we had this error before and I didn't notice, maybe. I don't know. Okay, one last time. Let's try room 2. And then we'll wait for the game to start. Let's join room 2. New player join adding to session. It's weird that this would get called. Anyway, same error here. We're not working, I think. Yeah. Yeah, weird that this one would call new player join adding to session. Let me make sure all players are joined. Ah, okay. So in this case, we only got 1 player connected. Right? Yeah, we only had 1 peer connect before we joined the game. One of these 2. We didn't get enough time to get both. And I guess that's why I didn't fail, because it's only got 2 players. And then new player joined adding to session doesn't appear to cause any errors in this case. But in these cases, it does. There we definitely have like a race condition. The thing is, there's no way for me to know how many players are in that room, other than maybe by waiting and seeing. Right, but it shouldn't matter. Like if I'm not connected to all the players and then they join mid game, we want the players to be treated the same. So although it might be a bit tricky for like synchronization, I guess you might need to roll back or something. So could try adding a delay, seeing if that helps to avoid this case here. But in the other case, we were getting another error. Oh, what was the error again? Then we get like a different error. Was it index out of bounds? Maybe L3 got this before. All right, well, my time is up. So that's all for today. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 5. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, like, share, subscribe, follow, and let me know what I can do better and what you enjoyed. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.